Hello, it's Lucy, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about how I attend Northwestern University for free. And not only that, I also get paid to attend Northwestern. So my entire tuition is completely covered, and in addition to that, Northwestern deposits money into my bank account each quarter to help cover my off-campus room and board, books and supplies, personal expenses, and more. So let's get started. Let me give you a little bit of background about myself. I'm a third-year undergraduate student studying computer science at Northwestern University. I transferred to Northwestern my second year of college, and as a transfer student, I have the same cost of attendance and the same eligibility for scholarships as anyone who was accepted as a first-year student. So this information should apply to you whether you're a first-year or a transfer student. I also transferred from Cornell University, which is an Ivy League and a top 20 university, and my scholarship situation there was very similar to the one here. So if you're looking to apply or attend a top 20 university, this information should also be relevant to you. Now let's talk about the cost of attending Northwestern University. If you look at the undergraduate student budgets for the 2022-2023 school year, which I'll link below, the full-time tuition is over $62,000, the fees are over $1,000, and then if you include room and board, books and supplies, personal expenses, transportation, and loan fees, that's almost $88,000 per year. And that's a huge sum of money. So this is why it's important to be educated on the cost of attending a top university. When most people think of scholarships, they think of scholarships that are awarded for academic achievement, like having a high GPA or high ACT or SAT, or having some type of academic award. However, these aren't the only types of scholarships that exist. There are many different types of scholarships, but the two most common ones are merit-based and need-based scholarships. Merit-based scholarships are exactly what I described before. These are the scholarships that are awarded for academic achievement, like high GPA, SAT, ACT, etc. But then there's also need-based scholarships, which are awarded for financial need. So this could come in forms of having low income, low amounts of savings, or anything of that nature. Northwestern University and many other top universities don't even offer merit-based scholarships. So even if you are the most genius person in the world, you have a perfect GPA, perfect SAT, ACT, you invented the cure for cancer, they still can't offer you a merit-based scholarship. And this is with the exception of athletic scholarships and music scholarships, which are a completely different scenario and don't apply to most people. So you might be thinking that this is very unfair, which is quite possible, but what these universities do offer are need-based scholarships. So let's talk about who is eligible for a need-based scholarship. First off, you need to be a US citizen or permanent resident. If you're an international student or undocumented student, it doesn't mean you can't apply for financial aid, but there's different application requirements that I won't be going over in this video. Second, you need to be working towards your first bachelor's degree. Third, you need to be enrolled at least half-time or part-time at Northwestern. And then fourth, you need to be maintaining satisfactory academic progress, which this really only applies to anyone who's already at Northwestern. And it just says you need a minimum cumulative GPA of 2.0, which is the equivalent to a C average. You need to have successfully completed at least 2/3 of all classes attempted and must have completed their degree requirements within 150% of the length of their academic program. So for most people, this won't be an issue. Now, let's say you check all of those boxes. How do you actually apply for a need-based scholarship? So first, you need to fill out the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. And FAFSA determines your eligibility for federal student aid. Then you need to fill out the CSS profile, which is the College Scholarship Service, and the CSS profile determines your eligibility for university aid. Next, this is Northwestern University specific. You also need to submit your tax materials to Northwestern. After you submit all of those documents, Northwestern will look through them, and if you have financial need, you'll be given a financial aid package that typically includes a combination of scholarship or grant assistance, student loans, and student employment. So far, we've really only talked about scholarships, which provide you money to help pay for school and aren't expected to be paid back. However, there are other types of financial aid out there. There are loans which enable you to borrow money and pay it back at a later date, And there's also work study, which is a way for students to earn money to pay for school through part-time work. Typically, when you receive a financial aid package, you'll have a combination of all of these. So, what kind of financial aid package can you expect to receive? Northwestern actually has some aid package examples online that we can look through together. Here we are on Northwestern University's undergraduate financial aid website. Let's look at a few of the financial aid package examples. The first one is the art of the possible. A student lives in a single-parent household and has no siblings. Her family income totals $25,000. The family has no savings and does not own a home. So as we can see here, the total cost of attendance is equivalent to the financial need, meaning that the family contribution is $0. And if we look at the financial aid award, we can see that she receives a Pell Grant, Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, Northwestern Scholarship, and Federal Work Study. So altogether, the total aid offered is equivalent to the financial need. I think that this is such a cool example of how generous Northwestern's financial aid can be. Here it's giving someone the opportunity to go to a university like Northwestern that they normally would never be able to afford based on their circumstances, but because Northwestern offers financial aid, they now have the opportunity to do so without having to worry about any loans or any costs, and they can just focus on their studies. So I think this is really awesome. Let's continue looking. Here we have Building for the Future. A student is one of 2 children to be enrolled in college next year. Both parents are employed outside the home. The family's income is $155,800. They have $150,000 in home equity and $100,000 in savings. The student has $1,000 in savings and investments. This is important to note. I do know that the parent savings and the student savings have different effects on your financial aid. I also know that if you have multiple siblings enrolled in college at the same time, it also affects your financial aid. But anyways, let's look at the family circumstance. The financial need is $58,804 with a family contribution of $29,000. They receive Northwestern Scholarship and Federal Work Study, which meets all of their financial need. And I also think this is another really great example of how generous Northwestern's financial aid is. We're looking at a family with a 6-figure salary, which is a lot of money, and they also have a lot of money in savings, but yet Northwestern is still able to accommodate all of their financial need and provide them with a very generous scholarship. So moving on, let's look at working together. A student from Washington is the only member of her family in college. She has 2 younger brothers. Both of her parents are employed and together earn $105,500. They have $400,000 in home equity and another $10,000 in investments and savings. Here the financial need is $64,000, and they also meet all of that need with Northwestern Scholarship and Federal Work Study. So as you can see here, the parents have a lower salary, but higher home equity, and then lower investment and savings. But the aid offered is looking pretty similar to our last example. So as you can see, there are many different factors that affect financial aid. So it's not just solely based on your income or like solely based on your investments and savings. It's a very big combination of everything. And this is why everyone's financial aid packages are unique. Moving on, let's look at lending a hand. A student is one of 2 siblings and will be the only family member in college this year. Both parents are employed and together earn $495,000. They have $285,000 in home equity as well as $324,000 in savings and investments. The student has $2,500 in savings. The family contribution exceeds the cost of attendance. In this case, the university can offer various financing options. So currently they show 0 financial need. However, they are still awarded some financial aid in the form of unsubsidized federal direct Stafford loans and PLUS loans. So here, I think this is also like a great example of how even if you are making like almost $500,000, or like your parents are, there's still like some help out there. Even though loans aren't like the best option, I still feel like it's pretty insane that they're getting like any financial award, just because to me, like earning $500,000 is a ton of money. So once again, I just think this shows how generous Northwestern is with their financial aid, and I hope this helps give you a perspective on like all of the different situations that can occur and what kind of financial aid they're given, so that you can maybe kind of start thinking about your own financial situation. Northwestern University also has a chart that illustrates the average Northwestern scholarships awarded to enrolling freshmen in fall 2021 based on their family's adjusted gross income. So let's take a look at those as well. Here we are again on the Northwestern University Undergraduate Financial Aid website. Here we're looking specifically at Northwestern scholarships. To look at a few statistics, the university awarded over $200 million to undergraduate students in the 2022-2023 school year, and approximately half of undergraduates received a Northwestern University scholarship. You can also see that financial aid from the university is limited to 4 years of enrollment for an entering first year and 3 years of enrollment for an entering transfer student. If we scroll down, we can see these are all of the scholarships that Northwestern offers. And then if we continue on, we can see that the Northwestern University scholarship is generally the final component of an aid package, meeting any remaining need after other forms of aid have been applied. So when it's talking about other forms of aid, it's talking about those loans and federal work study that we talked about before. You can also see here that the award ranges from $250 to over $40,000 annually. And here, this chart illustrates average Northwestern scholarships awarded to enrolling freshmen in fall 2021 by their family's adjusted gross income. The third column reflects only Northwestern grant aid. The fourth column reflects Northwestern grant aid plus state and federal grants. And then the last column reflects all of these items plus private scholarships earned by our students. Please note that these figures are averages. So if you look here, you can get a general sense of the average Northwestern scholarship based on family income. But like I said before, there are many factors outside of family income that can affect your scholarships. So while this is a ballpark estimate, like don't take this as fact. But I do think it is pretty cool that Northwestern does put this on their website. I think that it's really nice that they're not like secretive about how much money they're giving out. They're displaying it to the public, and I think this is really useful for people who are applying for college. And then this just describes the scholarships in more detail. If you'd like to take a look at them, I will have all of these links in the description so you can check them out later. If you would like a more precise estimate of how much you would have to pay and how much scholarship you would receive from Northwestern, then you can fill out Northwestern's net price calculator online. It's completely free and anonymous. You just fill in some information like your family's income, your assets, and other details, and then it will give you a bunch of information about how much it estimates you'd receive in scholarship, loans, federal work study, and how much your family would actually have to pay to attend Northwestern. So I think it's super helpful. I filled it out before I actually applied to Northwestern, and I found that the numbers were pretty accurate when I compared it with my actual financial aid package. So I will link I'll put the link in the description and the link to all the other resources I mentioned so that you can take a look for yourself. Personally, I received a very generous financial aid package. I received scholarship, loans, and federal work study, but luckily I am fortunate enough not to need to take out any loans or participate in federal work study. So all of my financial assistance comes from my scholarships, which I am super thankful for, and that is how I attend Northwestern University for free and actually get paid to do so. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that this was very informative. I know that applying for college and figuring out how to pay for college is super stressful, And I think it's really important to be educated on these things. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.